So while using the city's tool, which is called Austin Code Case Tracker, I noticed that there was a pattern of complaints over here in North Austin. This is West Anderson Lane and Mopac over this way. And there's a little street here called Whiteway Drive. It's kind of unusual to have 5 code violations on one street. And so if we zoom in, we're going to concentrate on one. And right here on the corner of Whiteway Drive and Shoal Creek, there's one here. It says 2901. So we'll take this first one. 2901 Whiteway Drive. Turned in February the 19th. An inspection, no violations found. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Work without a permit. Okay, so it was turned in for work without a permit. The case was opened on February 12th. Inspection was done on February the 19th. No violations found. February the 18th, the inspector says he left a door hanger. He performed an inspection, and the next day he decided there was no violations, and his name is Ron Union. So, we did an open records request for this to figure out what was going on, and then here's the case log itself. So here's the case log for 2901 Whiteway Drive. You can see that the status of the case is closed. The property owner is mysteriously not recorded. So he's got the address right and the lot description here, but the property owner is, he says, not recorded. Well, we'll get back to that in a minute. The date was February the 12th. Evidently somebody turned this thing in for work without a permit, stating the homeowner has built in the past a patio cover off the back of the home that goes almost to the back fence line. I think you are supposed to keep off the back and sides of the property line when you build things? ? I'm not sure if it was permitted work, but it's too close to the power lines. You can see this from 7600 Shoal Creek Boulevard. So Ron Union was assigned on February the 12th. And this is the interesting thing about this. Instead of saying, I did this, it's all written in the third person, like he's outside of his body talking. So Officer Ron Union arrived at this location and performed an exterior inspection of the property. Officer Union was unable to observe any type of patio cover from the exterior of the property. Officer Union attempted to contact the residents. However, nobody came to the door. Officer Union observed there was no complaint contact information for this complaint. Officer Union went to 7600 Shoal Creek Boulevard per the complaint and attempted to contact the residents at this location. However, once again, nobody came to the door. Officer Union left his business card at 7600 Shoal Creek Boulevard requesting contact in regard to this complaint. So the complaint was for 2901 Whiteway Drive. Nobody answered the door. He walked around and he went next door to 7600 Shoal Creek Boulevard requesting contact regarding the complaint. Evidently he left a door hanger, which is standard, but he doesn't say which address he left the door hanger at. The next day he states Officer Union spoke to a citizen who stated she did not file any complaint on 2901 Whiteway Drive and stated she can't see into the rear yard of that location from her property. The complaint is listed as anonymous. So one assumes he's very poor in his case log here. On 12/19, he doesn't say which citizen he talked to. We can maybe guess it's somebody from 7600 Shoal Creek, which is not the property in question, and nothing else. He never stated he took any photos. He never stated he contacted the owner, who he contacted. As far as we know, he didn't talk to anybody. Let's see what he said on his. Let's see what his photos look like. Okay, through Open Records, we got. I received a PDF with 13 photos. You can see the address is 2901 Whiteway Drive, CC case 2016-015336. Thursday, February 18th, 2016, Code Officer Ronald Union. And so evidently this is a screenshot from Amanda that talks about the address. I've never seen this before, so here's the description that was on the case log, and then a case number, and SR is service request. So his second photo is he took a picture of Whiteway Drive with the sun blaring in it. Again, that's at 2:53 p.m. His 2:52 p.m. So that must be from his vehicle. 2:53 p.m. he's taking a photo of the street sign. 2:54 he's taking a photo of the address. This is very common. They're supposed to, because when they're taking photos throughout the day, they want to know when the address starts and then a new one starts again. So this is the front of the house. This is the corner. This is the right side of the house. This is the right side of the house, and you can see into the backyard, and there's a storage shed up against the fence line here. But he can't see anything here. He's taken a photo of a card. This must be the door hanger that he referred to. Please call my office in regards to a complaint filed on house at 2901 Whiteway Drive. Thank you, Ron Union 218. So it looks like he left a card at the other address at 7600 and not anything at the house in question. Here he takes a picture of 7600 right here and he frames in the house. But he didn't take any pictures of the side of the house of 2901, the street side, where it was close to 7600. Is that what them see? The complaint said you can see this from 7600 Shoal Creek Boulevard. So here's 7600. He shows this part, but the house in question is over here on this side. And then he just closes his case. Let's take a look at Google Earth. So here's a picture from 2901 Whiteway Drive. This is the front of the house as taken from Google Earth. And again, anybody with a computer can pull these things up. Let's see what else they have. Okay, you'll recognize this structure as 7600 Shoal Creek. And he showed you this part of the house here, but he didn't show you this part of the house. His photo stopped over here. This is what he didn't show you. This is what is very clearly seen from the street, is this patio here that evidently was turned in. Let's go back and look at Ron Union's photos again. Okay, here's a screenshot, the street. Here's the front of the house. Here's the corner of the house. Here's 7600 over here, and there's a big bush here. There's the right side of the house close up. 76. He's cut off the middle of the garage when he's showing 7600. But he doesn't show you that big bush. Let's go back to Google Earth photo. Ron Union cut off the photo right here. And he never showed this part of the garage on the house side photos. If he did, his photos would have shown this. This is what evidently was turned in, that you could see from 7600 Shoal Creek Boulevard, very clearly see, is this carport here, as seen on Google Earth. So why wouldn't Ron Union leave a note for the owners at 2901 Whiteway Drive? Why would he leave a cryptic message and state that he talked to somebody at 7600 Shoal Creek and not document who he talked to? Let's figure out who owns 2901 Whiteway Drive. This is the Travis County Central Appraisal District. All property in Travis County, you can look it up here. Owner name, we want to go by address. 2901 Whiteway, Whiteway. Leela Fireside, 2901 Whiteway Drive. Let's look at the details here. We can, let me see, expand all. So 2901 Whiteway Drive is owned by Leela R. Fireside and Patrick Concierge. Evidently they live there because the mailing address is here. So why wouldn't the inspector, he's got the legal description right and the address right, why wouldn't he state who the owner of this property is? I told you we'd get back to that. This house was built in 1968, and the front porch is there, garage attached, nothing about a rear patio anywhere on here. Okay, so we know there's a rear patio there. We can see that Ms. Fireside purchased this home in 2003. So let's try to figure out who Leela Fireside is and why would Ron Union want to protect her and just close his case. So we're going to go back to our good friend Google. Leela Fireside, Fireside. Leela Fireside. Leela Fireside. Okay, we have some hits. LinkedIn, Austin, Texas, Assistant City Attorney, City of Austin. Okay, so Leela Fireside, the owner of 2901 Whiteway Drive, is an Assistant City Attorney for the City of Austin. Let's look at her professional profile here. There she is, Miss Leela Fireside, and she is an Assistant City Attorney for the City of Austin. Could that be why Ron Union botched his case? He never bothered talking to anybody. He just made it appear that he did something, and he closed the case. Because the house in question, that apparently has a covered patio, is an Assistant City Attorney for the City of Austin. Salaries, white female, hire date 2008, making $110,000 a year. So it looks like we have the right person, the right address. The problem is we have a city code inspector who has falsified his case log and done a very poor job of covering things up. Who is Ron Union? So a quick search online, we find a Ron Union, and looks like a normal guy sitting at the beach with his wife. Likes football and sailing boats. Corona Extra. He looks like that guy on Lieutenant Brass on the on that TV show. I'll think about it in a minute. But yeah, that's who he looks like, Lieutenant Brass. And blues on the green. So this must be our guy, because here he's posing in his uniform, Union, and he's a city code inspector, but he's a short little fella. I guess this might be his son. Maybe that's why he couldn't see the patio, because he couldn't see over the fence. So with a little patience, and the internet, you can easily do a background check on somebody. We figured out that Ron Robert Union used to work for the city of Cedar Park. And he was a code enforcement officer there before he came to the city of Austin. And so, of course, we got an open records request, and they redacted all of the necessary things. We see where he went to college: Long Beach, Huntington Beach. Some of his last jobs: Leander Independent School District. He was a parking lot attendant. Enforced district rules while on school property. He was that cop that sat out there in the parking lot and told kids not to ditch. He worked for HEB as a loss prevention partner. Again, he was a parking lot attendant at a different school. And, of course, he worked as a cafeteria assistant in Leander ASID or ISD to prepare and serve lunch to students. He worked as a dispatch operator for animal control. This guy's got a lot of jobs. Airport communications operator. Security officer, jailer, police officer recruit. Attended 10 weeks of a 21-week academy. Why did he only attend 10 weeks of a 21-week academy? Medical retirement as a police officer. Reason for leaving. So evidently he was a police officer, but he took medical leave after attending 10 weeks of a 21-week academy. Okay, that should probably tell you enough about Ron Union, other than he knows Microsoft Word, Outlook, and some Excel. So, the question is, why did a city code inspector close a case when it's clearly, you can go to Google Earth and see the photos of this porch thing right here? Zoom in a little bit. No mistaking, that's a screened-in porch at 2901 Whiteway Drive. Why would Ron Union just close the case? Well, the reason is, it's an assistant city attorney for the city of Austin. He took a photo of this house and cut it off right here. Never took a photo of this side. Granted, he's a short fella, but this thing is well above the fence when you're standing back here. He could have stood on the tailgate of his car if he needed the extra height. It's very clear that Ron Union falsified his case log to protect an assistant city attorney for the city of Austin from having to comply with the city codes of working without a permit. So just to be sure, we stumbled across this 2901 Whiteway Drive. There were others on the street, and some of them, most of them were closed with no violations found as well. A few of them that Ron had been involved with, he went ahead and wrote those people up. But this one here, he did not. So we checked with, we do a public information request for 2901 Whiteway Drive and asked for copies of any permits for that building. And we get a letter back from the city of Austin, public information request 25183, dated March 21st of 2016, says, Mr. Flatt, this letter is in response to your request for information regarding 2901 Whiteway Drive. On behalf of the city of Austin, the Development Services Department, Planning and Zoning provides there were no building permits found for the above listed address. No building permits. They don't even have a permit for the building of the house. And again, this house was built in 1968. Now, the people in code will tell you that they have a copy of every building, a permit for every building ever constructed in the city of Austin, dating from 1935 forward. This is proof positive they don't. A house from 1968 that shows no back enclosed porch as far as TCAD goes, And the city of Austin is very clear that they have no permits. There were no building permits found for the above listed address, 2901 Whiteway Drive. So not only does the city not have a permit for the enclosed patio off the back of the building, they don't have a permit for the house ever being built. We see this time and time again. Just because the city tells you something, don't believe everything they tell you. So what about Ron? So the big question is, oh, that's a pun. The question is, did Ron commit fraud when he was paid to go out and inspect a complaint at 2901 Whiteway Drive? Did he stage his photos in such a way he knowingly didn't talk or even leave a note for the owners at 2901 Whiteway Drive? He staged the photos at 7600 Shoal Creek to not include the one shot that would have showed that there's a patio back there. So is it theft of services? Is it fraud? Or was it knowingly tampering with a government record to protect a senior city attorney? Or is Ron just really not qualified to wear the uniform? Should he perhaps go back to working in the cafeteria or working at the school district? Mr. Smart will tell us that his people are the best trained in the state, but it's just not true.
Yeah, our inspectors are some of the best trained, actually, as far as code enforcement officers in the state.